Hey, I'm Liv, and welcome to my 21st Pandemic Parley. This is a biggie. It's the first Pandemic Parley of 2021. It's the 21st Pandemic Parley. Lots of things all together. Today is also, the 20th anniversary of my arrival in this country. If you don't know, I immigrated from South Africa 20 years ago. We arrived in Chicago, March 17th, and it was weird. It was a weird time to arrive in a new country. They had dyed the river green. It was weird. Anyways, it's been an interesting 20 years. Wonderful in many ways, difficult in many ways, but I'm thrilled to be here. I feel so fortunate to have all the opportunities and privileges that I've had, including the chance to immigrate. Being able to immigrate to another country and to get to a better situation or a different situation, or even moving to be close to family is a wonderful opportunity that I'm very thankful for. In today's Pandemic Parley, we talked about a lot of things. I still don't know if I made any sense because it's like me babbling multiple times throughout the day, hopefully trying to comprehensively put together thoughts that I've had over the past 5 or 6 months since my last Pandemic Parley, whatever it's been. So probably not, probably wasn't coherent, but hopefully it was. I probably didn't tell you what a Pandemic Parley is. It's something that I started at the beginning of the pandemic as a way to share my feelings and thoughts while I put on makeup. Sometimes I cried while I was doing that, and that made the makeup process hard. But nonetheless, the Pandemic Parley has been a great thing for me, and I would like you to know that this is a safe space to share your thoughts and feelings about the pandemic at this point that we're at now, or wherever you are in the future, or I was gonna say past, but whatevs. But I guess past could be the case because some of the freedoms that we are being allowed in this country, in the United States, are different to what people can do throughout the world. So we are all in different levels of the pandemic, even though we're sharing this experience together. So feel free to share anything that you need to about your experience, even if it's different to what we're going through here. And actually, maybe especially if it's different, because I'd love to know how you're all experiencing life now. And the pandemic is not over, just because we're getting vaccinated and getting some more freedoms. I feel like I have a new respect for these invisible little things that can take down an entire world, I have a lot more respect for viruses than I think life, and our mentalities are changed forever. I would hope. And that's okay. It's okay. Wear a mask, get vaccinated, keep watching. Let's go. Well, hey there. It is the morning before I start work. You guys already know what is going on, what this look is going to be. So we're going to get started because I'm in a rush. I just had this funny thought. Okay. So today is St. Patrick's Day, which you know, and I'm an alien and I'm all green. So I could be a legal alien. St. Patrick's Day because today's my immigration day. You probably heard the whole story already, but I think that would be funny. All right, so we're gonna do my face really quickly before I start work, and then we're gonna come back and do my eyes. We are, of course, going very green today, and I haven't filmed my makeup in ages. I was doing Pandemic Parleys for a very long time, and they were very therapeutic to me and amazing and difficult, but that's not to say that things haven't been happening and that I haven't been processing things, but I just haven't necessarily put them here. I think there was a lot of emotional processing, at least for me, in the first chunk of the pandemic that I really wanted to express. I've had lots of time since then that I've wanted to share things, but it's a big time and it's quite an emotional commitment to share this much. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so I've thought about a lot of things that I want to share, but we're going to start with some sweet, simple things. Today is the 20th anniversary of my immigration to this country. I cannot believe I've been here 20 years and I do my eyebrows. I don't know why we're doing my eyebrows. By the way, I was using my e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation in the color Sand. If I want to just match my skin perfectly, that's what I do. So I can't believe I've been here 20 years, and I sort of can't believe what's happened in those 20 years and also how little. I don't know about you, but in a lot of ways, I feel like little has happened in my life and I don't remember that much. And sometimes if I think back on things, then I'm like, oh, that was great. That was very exciting. But also little has changed. I've been in the same house for 16 years. I've been in the same state for almost my whole time here. And so little has changed in my life. And that's a great privilege. That is a great privilege. It's a very middle class privilege, I think, to have that, I've been able to stay the same and keep what I have. That's very, very fortunate. And And it's been interesting throughout the pandemic seeing the contrasts of my life compared with other people's lives. And for the very most part, I feel incredibly lucky and privileged and very aware of my privilege. I feel that very much for the most part. So for example, today, I would like to pass on my privilege, and I'm organizing a fundraiser, or rather promoting a fundraiser that I've organized previously for Veronica. And Veronica was our housekeeper when we were in South Africa. Oops, that's concealer, not color corrector, whatever. So she unfortunately lost her employment due to the pandemic, and there's just not the same care taken for domestic workers and in South Africa. And so her sister is able to have a job and is supporting 9 people under just her paycheck. And Veronica is really, really struggling. So this fundraiser, I'll link it down below, is 100% sent to Veronica, and like literally anything helps. And even if you can't donate, if you can share it, that would be wonderful, because they're literally struggling to live there because of this pandemic. And I mean, her youngest son doesn't even live with her because he's fortunate to be able to attend school. But in order to attend school, he has to live with friends who live closer because pandemic. And like what would normally be an incredibly long journey is now even worse pandemically. So there's just so much. So for the most part, I feel incredibly privileged looking at how my life is the same. I'm stable. I'm the same. I'm still working remotely. I'm so thankful, and geez, am I desperate to keep that going forever. I never want to go back to commuting. I never want to go back to the office. I always thought I was this kind of person, and I know it now. I'm not an office person. I'm a silent, work alone person, very self-motivated. What about you? Are you one of those people that's really excited to get back to being around people and being at the water cooler? And I love being around people when I elect to, but when it's not when I elect to, like at the office, then I don't love it. And I also don't like an hour and a half, 2-hour commute every day. Why don't I turn the slide on? So I'm very, very privileged. I get to work remotely. Everything in my life is the same, incredibly privileged. And then something that's been very hard is watching other privileged people not check their privilege. And that's not to say that I don't have areas where I need to check my privilege. I promise I'm flawed. And if you see areas I should check my privilege, please tell me. I'm open to that. This is saying that I've noticed other people not checking theirs, and it's very upsetting. Like the amount of people that I've seen going on trips to Mexico or Hawaii, and I get really torn because I don't know, maybe I'm being super judgmental and I should just celebrate that these people can do that. But then again, they're bringing risky behavior and potentially more virus to countries that are struggling, Mexico at least, or just flaunting their privilege, being able to go, I just needed a break from this pandemic. I had to go to Mexico. So like flaunting their privilege and being able to go to this place where people are struggling and not wearing masks, not being careful, at least by what they show on social media. So there's both the judgment that I see on what people are doing, and then also not seeing them be responsible with what they post. Because whether or not you're on YouTube, you are your brand. I'll put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing with my face. Everything that you post represents you and represents your views. Everything you share, it all says how you feel and what you think. So when people go on these trips and just seem to promote the privilege of being able to go to luxury locations and then they don't wear masks or don't seem to post that stuff, then they're saying that that's what they're okay with. So that's been hard to see. That's been really difficult, and I don't know how to engage with that content. And this has been throughout the pandemic. Now we are obviously St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2021. We're a lot further along, and there's a lot of vaccines that have been made available, and a lot has happened. But this is like throughout the pandemic, I've seen people do this, and it upsets me, and I don't say anything to them. And I've seen people complain that people judge them, but for the most part, I just see other people supporting that behavior, and that makes me sad. So that's why I'm taking this opportunity to share this here on my platform, because when people post that stuff on Facebook or whatever, they don't necessarily want people to engage negatively, right? They want the positive engagement because they're not posting it to be berated about their holiday. They want those people who say, great, lovely time, and they're not going to respond when you diss them or say, hey, do you really need to be doing that? And that's the deal. I, this whole time, just feel really fortunate to be able to work at home, and my only job during the pandemic, my only job pandemically, is to remove as much of a burden of my existence as possible and try help slow the spread. That's been the whole thing the whole time. I don't have to go out and do lots of things. I don't have to, every single interaction that I could potentially have if I go out and do things is then potentially spreading risk to other people. And I don't have to do that. I do feel a responsibility to support local businesses around me, and the hell's that? It's not there the whole time. So anyways, how do you feel and how's it been around you? Like, I know I'm lucky to be able to have a husband who I care for and who's very nice to me, and we both enjoy each other's company. So that hasn't been too hard in a lot of ways. I'm struggling with my weight though, and having a very hard time with that. That's another story. I'm going to use this. So this was a Anastasia Beverly Hills shadow stick in contour stick in shadow. I got that discounted on Reddit. Someone was getting rid of it. And this is a Huda Tantor and Fair. I don't love it. It's still pretty orange on me, so you'll see how it looks. But I've been popping this combination on and then throwing on some Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer to blend it. Like, I just think that looks really orange. Don't know about you. But anyways, man, my skin is peeling. I've been using retinol, so sometimes it gets really dry, typically. So it's a lot of judgment, and I hate being in that situation, judging people and seeing that. So how do you feel? Like, what are the people doing around you? I don't know if anyone really watches these, so I'm just gonna go into some real talk. I actually read the term for dysphoria, like the description of what the word actually means the other day, like a general dis-ease and discomfort with life. And I realized that is how I've felt my whole life. Like I remember I felt that way since I was 6 years old. I was lying in the bath and I felt that I'd ruined my life and I'd done everything wrong and I just wasn't doing anything right and I'd wasted my life. And I remember feeling like being 6 years old and having that feeling it was too late for me. I'd wasted my life. And that's a feeling that I wake up with many mornings, to be totally honest. And Logical Liv is very bubbly and very rational and very positive. And she chats to this base Liv that struggles. And she says, life has no timeline. You don't know when it begins and ends. You don't know where it's supposed to go. There's no expectation on you other than what you want of yourself. Like Rational Liv is really good at that stuff. But Base Liv is like this dark little monster that wakes up and she has those feelings. That's almost sort of how I feel like I was born. And maybe that's why Rational Liv exists, because and why she's good at that stuff is because Base Liv is a dark little weirdo, you know? I think I was like that as a kid. Honestly, I don't know. And I don't know if there's any point in me sharing this. I don't know if anyone's going to listen, but maybe you, Tony, are you there? But I think the thing that, the reason I've been thinking about that and that dysphoria is because I've become very aware of it pandemically, because Rational Liv has a lot of work to do every single morning. And so I can only imagine how difficult it is for someone suffering with depression or even a difficult living situation, having to deal with the pandemic. And you might need a break. You might have pandemic fatigue and you might need to do something to get a break. And so I know that me being critical about people traveling or things like that might feel harsh. And I don't mean to judge you if you are struggling with a real issue with something life-threatening like that, because depression can be life-threatening. Oh, this is Sephora face palette thing. It was like $10. I love this thing so much. Really surprising. And at the same time, I don't think anything's really an excuse to contribute to the pandemic or put other people at risk. So there's a weird contradiction there. I know. I don't know. Do you have that too? Possibly. Anyone? Have you had that since you were a kid, you know, waking up dark like that and having to talk yourself out of it? Not just waking up dark. Like I've always felt old, broken, or not at ease with life. And part of that is like, yeah, I was teased as a kid mercilessly and bullied, and I've always been very fragile. I'm not fragile. I'm very tough, but I've also always been, at least when I was a kid, it smells so good. Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I almost forgot I want to blend that all in. So I was always a really good target because I cried and sensitive. Yeah. So maybe that's it, is like, I feel like baby me was very sensitive, and it's taken some work, some considerable work. And I know that potentially at times during the pandemic parlays, I may not have shown what kind of work that was taking, but then again, I think I did, because That is what attitude adjustment is. When I've talked about that, that's rational Liv having to step in and be like, okay, dark Liv, base Liv, you're going a bit too deep down that rabbit hole and you need to come out. Yes, I'm not even sure why I use that Huda stuff. Maybe it's because I was so excited about cream bronzer and I got it and now I'm like trying to make myself use it, but I have to tone it down with the butter bronzer because it's too orange. If you have any recommendation for a bronzer that is for neutral skin, but not crazy gray, like warm neutral, that would be tight. Okay, we gotta throw in some highlight and then I have to go to work. Side note, Juvia's Place, this little highlight brush from them. For the most part, I feel like brushes are kind of silly sometimes, like a lot of brushes are just the same. And I've never had a good time with highlights. Like I never found highlights showed up when I watched YouTubers use them. This brush, however, let me show you. So I'm like dusting it in this green highlight because St. Patrick's Day, we gotta go green. And let's see if you can see this, but like, I go like that and then I kind of circle. Good Lord, can you see that? It's way too much. I did that for you guys. It's way too much. But like I buff and then I sort of circle it on my cheekbone where I want it to go extra. And it's like, it does that YouTuber thing where you see people actually having highlight deposit only with this brush. So I haven't found it with any other brush, but it's that application method and the brush as well. This looks stupid. We need to fix that quickly. Anyways, that's a lot of babbling. I hope that all made sense. I hope it was clear. I don't know. Pandemic parleys and putting on makeup and talking in general can be a good way to babble. So hopefully I didn't upset anyone. I mean, you are here to hear my thoughts, right? Or to see me put on makeup or to hear what the pandemic was like. Maybe you're in the future and it's like, ooh, what was that time like? Back when people had to worry about viruses and now we're all inoculated or something amazing. If you're from the future, will you leave me a little alien head? That'd be tight. Why am I saying tight today? I don't know. I've gone through weird little name things or word usages. Like hella was a big thing that I was using for a couple weeks and I have no idea where it came from. No clue. Anyways, I have to go to work. We're gonna come back on lunch break and then we're gonna do eyes and then we're gonna look amazing in green. I'm also gonna be filming a contacts video, green contacts. So, you know, there's lots going on. All right, back in a jiff. Hello, I'm back. I have a lot of my makeup downstairs by my workplace. So I haven't been doing makeup much. So I just grabbed this Slush palette and I'm not really sure what we're gonna do, but as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking peach and green. Peach and green. I don't know, why not? Sure, okay. We're gonna mess around. It might be a little watermelon-y. Peach, green, and pink, something like that. I'm on my lunch break and should we zoom you in? So we were talking about pandemic and everything. So where we are right now, my category is about to open up. It's opening up in 2 days. So I'm 1B4, which is someone with one health condition. And it seems like a lot of the population really is that because it's like asthma, obesity apparently is included. I thought that it was serious health conditions like someone fighting cancer or something like that, but I guess not. So I finally have potential access to the vaccine soon. I'm extremely excited. If you can't get vaccinated, do. I can't wait. And I'm also going to wait until it's my turn because that's another thing that I've been struggling with is the moment vaccines became available, and I wondered if this was going to happen and it did, was watching people who didn't desperately need it try and get it. So it's like, I'm sure I could have like tried to squeeze my way in more quickly with a health issue because I have a couple. And if you don't know, I was injured in a bombing when I was 16. So I was on a ventilator for a month and I had lung damage and smoke inhalation and I have asthma. So I feel like I've been through a very traumatic lung event and inhaled smoke from the bombing and stuff. So I've tried to be very careful, you know, just in case. From the very beginning, I've seen people trying to find ways to get the vaccine when they were not high risk, elderly, or an essential worker. And this has created some conflict for me. What kind of green should we do? I think we'll start with I'm going to use the same brush, which I'm totally just cleaning on my table. I'm going to start with a lime green and kind of buff it on the outside here and watch it barely show up. So I've had, as soon as the virus became available, I've seen people trying to get a spot and talking to me about it. And I just feel like I can work at home. I'm not an essential worker, an essential outside worker. I'm okay, I'm waiting. So now I've finally waited and it's finally almost my time. And I'm still not gonna push because to me, the vaccine is very much like handicap parkings. And this is something that happens to me a lot. I should clarify as well, if you don't know, I also lost my leg in that bombing and was injured further. So I have a handicap parking placard and plates on my car and I often use handicap parking. Something that I've dealt with ever since I was 16 and first started parking in handicap bays and first became handicapped was people parking in them who didn't need it, but because it appeared available. And I dealt with this in South Africa, which is where I'm originally from. And then I remember when I moved here, I got a membership to 24-Hour Fitness, and it was a really crappy one. And they only had 2 handicap parkings, and it was on a hill. And so it was just not the best, because you try getting out of your car in a wheelchair on a hill. It's not great. So already this gym wasn't fantastic. And I just signed up there for the first time, brand new in this country. And I saw a trainer park in the handicap bay and then run inside. And he had his trainer shirt on and everything. So I went inside and I talked to him and I said, hey, excuse me, you parked in the handicap bay. You can't do that. You got right up in my face and screaming. He ended up getting fired because it was obviously like not okay behavior, right? Sorry that there's a car or truck or something, but we're going to keep going. Rude. Okay, we're going to grab a deeper green. And so I'm not a stranger to having to deal with that. So the way I see the vaccine is sort of like that. The handicap parkings are there for someone who needs it or they can't come in, or who needs it because they're handicapped, even if they don't look it, right? And so often I've had to deal with people saying, well, I'm just running in, or no one was using the spot, or things like that. And so many people do that. They must be plowing. It was very snowy here. So many people do that it's something that I've encountered enough. And if enough people do that, then those spots will never be available for the people who need them, because there are always people who don't need them who assume that no one needs that spot. I'm just running in for 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like 5-minute stacks. If everyone just parks in there for 5 minutes, then it's never available for someone who needs to park there. So that's how I see the vaccine. There are many people who need this desperately for their livelihood. They have to work in person. They're not like me. And I know I'm very lucky. There are a lot of people like that. There are a lot of people who are high risk, very high risk, and there are people who are teachers, are doctors who work with the public. So I've had people encourage me to go get the vaccine sooner, and I don't want to be that person parking in the handicap bay and just running in. You know what I mean? In this case. And so I've had some ethical issues. I've had a lot of ethical issues and problems throughout this pandemic. And then on top of that, I also feel that I virtue signal because I want to tell those people that they're wrong. I want to tell those people, hey, stop trying to get the vaccine when you don't need it. There are people who need it. You don't need it. You just want to go on a holiday. And then I feel like I'm virtue signaling, which is trying to act like I'm better than I am because I think I'm high and mighty kind of thing, you know? So I look like fruit. I totally look like fruit. I look like a bowl of fruit. It's kind of interesting. I don't mind it. So I've been having a lot of problems with that, and probably more ethical dilemmas than most. Have you guys watched The Good Place with Kirsten Bell? Kirsten? Either way, she's amazing, of course. But her and Chitty, and how Chitty is always in analysis paralysis because of his ethics. I think I have that problem sometimes. So anyways, it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle feeling that way and just being like, could you stop? Could you stop? Like, I'm not going to be that park for 5 minutes just running in. Terrible person. Just stop. Let the people who need it get it. Calm down. You can go on your Mexico trip. You were doing it anyways without the vaccine. So come on. So anyways, now I'm finally actually eligible and I can sign up, say actually 2 more days, but I can sign up and feel okay about it and not be cheaty with analysis paralysis, you know? On that note, how is it for you? I didn't bring any eyeliner. I'm gonna have to go get some. Anyways, how is it for you? Do you have access to the vaccine? How do you feel about it? Please don't be scared of the vaccine. Please get it, okay? COVID is worse than the vaccine. Just get it. Although I do hear that there are some people who can have very specific health issues that might make it more challenging to get this, but I don't know. Just get it. Isn't it exciting? Then we can have a little bit of normalcy again. This is actually quite interesting and also weird. I think that I need more of this peach because otherwise it just looks like, what is that doing there? You know, I don't know. It's been a really interesting year, really interesting. I desperately don't want to have to go back to commuting and working in person. That the amount of time that I save in a day not doing that, I've taken up piano again. I haven't played piano in years. I didn't feel like I spent much time at home, you know? That's been an incredible benefit from this for me, a privileged benefit. So I'd love to hear what yours are. What things have you enjoyed and found to be an unexpected privilege or benefit for your situation, or just something that you've learned through the pandemic? All right, we're gonna do something weird with the lid. What are we we doing? We're gonna do green, pink, dark green. It'll be weird, okay? Let's try this. Crazy makeup is a fun thing because like if I'm on a Zoom with people, they can't see that close. You know? Actually, I just realized I have to do another video, so I might need to look a little normal. Maybe I won't do pink. I'll just do green. If you don't know, Patrick, my husband, started a channel about the Mustang Mach-E, so we have to do a video on it momentarily. So I feel like I can't have too crazy makeup. The Mustang Mach-E is a car, by the way. I feel like I can't have too crazy makeup if we're doing a video for that. Speaking of which, so we've done a couple of videos for that channel and I've done some TikToks and stuff here and there. And occasionally I get a comment like wearing masks outside, or sometimes people who are like, yay, you're wearing a mask. And it's so weird. I don't even think about it. Like, it's really not a hassle to wear a mask. It really isn't. And I'm probably gonna keep doing that for a long time. And it also just seems like a weird thing to shout at someone for, like wearing a mask, you know? So what? Someone's wearing a mask outside. If you don't agree with it, that's okay. But some people can get really adamant, like really pissed off. This color is interesting. I don't know about this color. It's really dark. Am I gonna regret this? I might. But then again, perhaps I'm doing that too as I'm getting upset at people for traveling. I don't know, man. Lots of thoughts. Share all your thoughts down below if you're having any. Let me know how you're feeling. It's really weird. It's weird, isn't it? What do you think? Gosh, and if you've had the vaccine, how do you feel? How was it for you? Are you one of those people that pushed in front of other people, and how do you feel about it? Because when I talk to people who've done that, they say things like, the vaccines are being thrown out, blah, blah, blah. But once again, I feel like handicap parking, 5 minutes, that whole thing. If you weren't someone who really needed it and those vaccines were being thrown out, then why didn't you tell someone who did? You know what I mean? Like, it's like going to a concert and it's really hard to find parking and all the handicap spots are taken. And so you're driving around trying to find parking and then you see a handicap spot that's available. You don't have a placard, but you know your friend is trying to get a parking and they do. Would you call them and say, hey man, I'm parked in front of the spot. I found one. I found a handicap parking for you. Or would you take it? You know, is that a good analogy? I think that works. All right, that looks a little better with some black. Hopefully people on the other channel don't find my makeup too crazy, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll like it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go put on some eyeliner. I'm gonna put some green in my waterline, mascara, you know, that boring stuff. And then we're gonna come back and finish up. Probably put on some lipstick too. Hi everyone, hello. We'll keep you all up close and personal just for a second. So I did this weird combination. I have this Illamasqua lipstick, but that was too peach. So then I added this ice cream collection orange and we have this weird creamsicle thing. I think that this look turned out really nicely, but for me personally, doing deeper colors, especially oranges or pinks or reds on the inside can sometimes look like I went, like I was tired, like, you know what I mean? From far away. I don't know. What do you think? Do you like this look? Let's get up and closer. As a random side note, there's this woman, Mains by Mel. Mel is her name. And she's on YouTube and she has the best curly hair. So I've been trying throughout the pandemic to do different things with my hair. And this was one of the things and I'm losing it. Like having this much hair in my facial region is driving me nuts. I don't know. I want to cut it all off, but I'm trying to get more volume. So if you have curly hair tips, leave them down below. Anyways, that is it for this pandemic parlay. It's been a whole lot of talking. Let's just agree here. Pandemic parlay, right? I'm not always gonna be correct. I'm not always gonna be spot on. I'm coming off the cuff here. I'm saying what's on the tippy top of my mind, and I'm very much an external processor. Don't know about you guys, but I oftentimes process my feelings by saying them out loud, and sometimes I even do that with myself. If you have ever hard time processing things, a vlog of your own, even if you don't show anyone, can be extremely helpful. I've done that numerous times in my life to get through difficult things. So anyways, sometimes just saying something out loud can really help me get in touch with it, and then I'm like, does that feel right? Does that feel okay? You know what I mean? Because feelings inside can be all jumbled, but when you put them out there, it can be like, does that look right? I don't know. Makes it more visible. Anyways, so if you have anything to share about what I shared, please feel free to leave that down below. Hopefully it'll be nice. As per usual, a pandemic parlay is a place for you to be able to share how you feel in this pandemic too. So really do feel free to express your feelings, hopefully in a respectful way. All right, I'm gonna go try on some green contacts. I can't wait. I think it'll go well. Wherever you are, I hope you're having the best day that you possibly can. We're almost through this together. Be kind to the people around you, and thanks for hanging out.